Stages of reproduction looks at what happens during the reproductive cycle of an animal. The first thing that's going to happen is an animal hits puberty, and that is simply when they're sexually mature. This is mainly influenced by age and weight. Cows are going to be around 9 to 10 months old when they start cycling. And what happens are males begin sperm production and females begin estrus cycle. And the estrus cycle is when females are able to start becoming pregnant. They have hormonal cycles, and it's how long it takes before they are able to be bred again. So in a horse, every 22 days, if they're not pregnant, they should be in heat. Goats are going to be 22 days, cattle's 21, along with swine, and sheep is 16. There's different types of estrus cycles. There's polyestrus, which they have several heat cycles in a year. Cats, cows, pigs all fall under this. And then there's so these polyestrus animals can be bred during any time that they're in heat. Seasonally polyestrus also can be bred anytime they're in heat. However, they are only going to cycle during certain times of the year. When the days get short in the fall or the winter, there's a lot of sheep and goat breeds then that are cycling. And long day breeders would be considered during the spring and summer, and that's mainly horses. This is mainly influenced by length of daylight and its effect on the brain and then the whole hormone cycle. Diestrus are twice a year heat cycles, and these would be like dogs. And then constant estrus would be rabbits. You know, you can put two rabbits together almost at any time, and they will instantly breed and become pregnant. Estrus, notice the difference in spelling, is the period of time when the female is receptive to the male. It's also called heat. The estrogen level is going to be high and the progesterone level is low. You may need these numbers when you get ready to do the worksheet that asks you to chart what happens with the different hormone levels. Signs of estrus in a female: they're going to be nervous, their vulva may be swollen, and they may have frequent urination, especially in horses. The difference between estrus and a menstrual cycle: the hormone control is similar in both. The estrus cycle, the endometrium, which is the inside lining of the uterus, is reabsorbed. During an estrus cycle, the only time that these females are receptive to the male is when they're actually in heat. A menstrual cycle is quite different in the fact that endometrium, the inside layer of the uterus, is actually expelled. It comes out of the body. And then females with a menstrual cycle can be sexually active anytime. They are open to having sex anytime. Gestation is the length of time from conception to the birth of the young. It's also known as pregnancy. The length is different for each species, and the fetus is actually going to develop in the uterus or the uterine horn. Parturition is the act of giving birth. It's initiated by hormones released from the fetus itself. Signs of parturition are going to be restlessness, swelling of the vulva and udder. Sometimes they swell all the way up their belly, and then uterine contractions. As you look in this picture, the cow's laying down. She's got the baby out. The baby has actually broken through the membrane sac. She's pushing. You can tell that she looks like she's trying to get up. Cows can have babies laying down or standing up. It just kind of depends on the cow. A lot of times when they start to get up, the weight of the baby helps pull the baby out. You can tell everything's going well here. And then here's the baby laying on the ground. The cow's just had it. Everything that's hanging out of the cow is her placenta, and we call that the afterbirth. And she will actually deliver that later. That is hooked on the inside of the uterus with what we call cotyledons, and those are actually like, it's almost like how you button up your shirt. They button on the inside of the uterus, and then hormones are released, and those buttons shrink, and that just unbuttons. Notice here's a great sign. The cow's turned around. She's looking at her baby. She's starting to lick it off, and that will help with the bonding process that occurs. The baby is starting to get up, which is good because the first thing hopefully that he does is he goes and nurses because she's got colostrum for him, and that colostrum is the first milk that a mammal gives and is full of antibodies, which will help the baby's immune system. She's still interested in the baby. Any cow that runs off after she has a baby probably is a cow that you're not going to keep because she has no mothering instinct. And if she doesn't raise a baby, you're going to have to, and that's a pain. If you notice here, looks like everything's going well. The baby's nursing. The cow's checking out the photographer. It looks like she's delivered the afterbirth. Everything's going to be okay. So she has now entered into a period of what we call lactation, and that's when she's milking. It begins when she gives birth, and it ends when we take the baby away from her, except in dairy cattle. And the period in dairy cattle actually lasts until we do what we call drying the cow off, and we dry her off about 60 days before she has another baby, so she has time to rest.